everybody.
Hello.
Hey, lady. It's 6:04. I'll call our meeting to order. So we will start with approving the January board meeting minutes. Does anybody have any changes that we need to make? Is there a motion to approve the January meeting minutes? Eva, all right. Is there a second? Victoria, you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Awesome. So Victoria seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Those opposed? Awesome. All right. And approving the agenda. There is one change I need to make to the agenda. Eva texted me and said that the kindergarten orientation books in section 6 scholastic dollars update, it was actually 4/11/51. Still, we could still cover that because we have plenty in our scholastic dollars account, but just wanted to make that change for the record. So $411.51. Any other changes to make to the agenda, guys? Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight? You can raise your hand. All right, Eva, and then second, Teresa seconds. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed? All right, that passes. Mr. Gordy, do you have anything that you want to give us an update on? I know the kiddos have been in school for a couple days now, some of the kiddos, the younger ones. Is there anything you wanted to tell us about how that's going? Or if you don't have anything, that's fine too.
Oh, sure. I can give a quick update. Excuse me. Just a couple of things. A reminder that 3rd through 5th grade starts back on Wednesday. We've almost had K through 2 back for 2 weeks. And it's really been going very well. It's exciting to see how quickly the kids kind of took to it. I don't know if you noticed, but it looked from our perspective, at least through last week, the kids were really tired. And I know that teachers were. And it's interesting, you know, it's a reminder of just how much endurance it takes to kind of do that work for the whole day. So it's good to have everybody back. Again, today, we did have indoor recess because of the extreme temperatures. It looks like that's something that's going to be happening all week, which is unfortunate because we really wanted kids to be able to get outside. We do have conferences coming up. Conferences are next Monday, the 15th, 11:45 to 7:45, and the Thursday, the 18th, from 3:45 until 7:45. So I just sent out a reminder email to folks if they haven't signed up via Skyward, they can call the main office and sign up that way. So we're just looking forward to getting.
All right, I'm in the.
Looking forward to getting 3rd through 5th grade back, and that'll be the first time since, last February. Or
Oh, shoot, I muted you on accident. Sorry, Steve.
That's okay. Once we get 3rd through 5th grade back, that'll be the first time we've had everybody back since last March, so almost a year. Yeah, which has really been crazy. The biggest challenge is carpool. And so you're going to hear this a lot from me, but I'm really asking people for their patience. We bought a new megaphone, which will help to get all the kids ready. I've tripled the amount of staff from the fall that I have out there just to monitor kids and to keep traffic moving and to guide everything. We've also tried to open up that middle lane for people to use as a passing lane. We've got it down to about 15 minutes in terms, it takes us about 15 minutes to get everybody unloaded. And then we're done with everybody by 3:30 in the afternoon, which is pretty close to what we previously were. We're gonna buy some new name tags. Writing your name on that small one that we put in the window is a little small. So we're buying a bigger name tag that's going to be hooked to your visor. We'll give you some rubber bands, put it on your visor, flip your visor down, and then we'll see the name coming up. And we feel like that improvement will help getting kids out and ready a little quicker. Teresa.
I know in last year when we would have, there would be someone that would come out and write all the names down of like the first 20 cars. Was that helpful at all, or did that not? I know it's harder because this year the kids are coming out staggered, so it's not as useful, but would that be a benefit?
It will if we can, if we can work on getting everybody out. And, you have to remember that this is really like the 8th day of school, because all of the rituals and routines have started all over again for all of the kids. So although I think, it's gone really well, and from my perspective, I'm amazed at how quickly kids have settled in. They're still learning those things. And teachers too, and the challenging part about starting school this time of the year is you've got all that gear that you have to manage. So it takes a long time to get that all up and going. Couple other things. We're going to have a kindergarten orientation for next school year. That's going to be a virtual orientation, which will be on the 26th of February. That's a Friday, so it's a C day, but there will be no asynchronous learning for any kindergarten students on the 26th. And then you may have seen that Stonebridge went into 2 weeks of distance learning. Just a reminder that, while we're back and we're doing our very best to kind of manage all of the spread, it's still sort of based on what kind of community outbreak we have and we see in our health office. As soon as I saw the message from the superintendent, I ran down to talk to my health, our school nurse, Carol, and she indicated at that time, knock on wood, we have not had any confirmed cases. So we're going to hold our breath and hope for the best. Any questions?
I don't think so. And if anyone has any questions, if you think of something, we can chat a little bit at the end too, if you have any questions.
And we are, because we're in the third quarter, we are having art for third quarter. So students who are so these would not be the distance learning students, but the students who are in the school building are having art with Mr. Davis. Fourth quarter will be back in the media center with Mrs. Towager. So we're excited about that.
Great. I want to welcome Emmy and Trish and Francis and Angie for being at the meeting tonight. Thank you so much. I did put a link to our agenda in the chat, and if you need me to resend it, just let me know. And Stephen, Angie did ask, any word on vaccinations for staff? What's the update with how many have been vaccinated? What's the schedule?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we started with vaccinations 2 weeks ago. I don't have the exact numbers because that wasn't shared with me. But I know it's more than 50% that were vaccinated, but I don't have the exact number. And then the week of the 20th, many folks are scheduled to go back and get their second round. So we had access to school district-wide. Almost 400 teachers were vaccinated in the first round, and they're continuing to do that. Again, more were added last week and more this week. And the focus has really been on elementary teachers and teachers who are in person with their students.
I know from talk at the bus garage as well, the district has also extended the hand to the drivers to get vaccinated as well.
That's
Yep.
wonderful. And that was through the district, Victoria?
As being basically we are around the kids as much as some other people. The district has offered that to the drivers and monitors as well, so that we can be vaccinated as well.
That's great. Anything else, Stephen?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 5, which is the budget. Michaela or Victoria, do you guys just want to give just a brief? I mean, there hasn't been much. We did get a couple checks from our dining out nights, but other than that, we haven't had many expenses except for a couple teacher reimbursements.
Yeah, you kind of said it, Renee. There isn't all that much. Current checking as of right now is 28,324. We have spent 1,522 since our last meeting. And like Renee said, 1,000 of that was for the Move Mindfully program. And then a few teacher stipends that came in. And then our income is $679. 300 of that was from Eva's dad, and then some dining out nights and box tops. So fairly minimal this month. I did not find any information about the laminator. I went back to like 2011. That's how many years back I have. So I didn't find anything about that, but I did find a business card for a tax person that they used in 2011. So I might hit him up.
See, maybe that's why we did the whole laminator business, because of that. For just an update for everybody about the laminator. So we got, I got a note a couple of weeks ago saying that our laminator was broken, and this laminator was purchased, well, many boards ago, many PTA boards ago. So a lot of the previous board members didn't really remember where we purchased it from, and you know what kind of agreement they had with the school. So it sounds like because we purchased the laminator and we provide the volunteers for it, and we're kind of responsible for the operation of it, we are in charge of repairs or replacement. And Mr. Gordy says it's such a large ticket item that the school just can't afford to pay for. So that's why an organization or a PTA would step in and do that. So it wasn't working a couple of weeks ago. Luckily, one of our paras, who was also volunteering with the laminator, her husband is, I don't know what he does for a profession, but he's definitely a handyman. So he took a look at it. He got it to work, and so far so good. So hopefully it stays that way. But that may be something we have to look at in the next few months or years, depending on how long this will last. So just something to put on our radar. Eva?
I was the other volunteer that used it, and I was just curious what didn't work with it. Do you
They
know?
said that it sounded like I don't know if it was the gears were slipping.
Okay.
A project would go through, and halfway through it would just stop.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and I don't know. He figured it out somehow, and so
I was
yeah.
just curious.
Felt
It's
like
used.
a belt needed to be adjusted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's used a lot, you guys. You know, you obviously can imagine how often it's needed in an elementary school. So we need to keep that resource available for our teachers.
Yeah, and it's used throughout the year too, not just at the beginning of the year. And our PTA gets to use it whenever we want to, because it's ours. So if we have carnival stuff or we need to laminate posters or signs, it's ours to use. So that's part of it too. So moving on from that, I'll let you know if anything changes, and they know to let us know if something goes wrong. The next item in the budget, we spoke about Carr Nottingham. The JCs, just to recap, the JCs gave us double the amount we had requested. So we had $4,000. Our contract with her was for $2,000 for 4 units. And the units are going to go through March. Now, the question is, because we have extra funding that the JCs provided, do we want to purchase 2 additional units, which would be 2 videos per month for April and May? So just as a snapshot, we have an additional $2,000 from the JCs. The 3rd grade teachers purchased some videos from Karen, so they got reimbursed for $560, which leaves us with $1,440 to use. So in our contract, built in our contract with Karen this year, we said that if we wanted to purchase more videos, we would purchase up to 2 or up to 2 units. So that would be 500 per unit, $1,000 total. So the question is, do we want to purchase 1 unit, 2 units? Do we not want to purchase it and just keep that 1,400 for next year when we have, hopefully, we're able to be in person and have a full contract with Karen again? So I don't know what everybody's thoughts are on that. And Karen Nottingham, for the parents who are here who might not be too familiar with her, she's our artist in residence. So in addition to our art program, we have Karen come in and do a lesson with each of the classes at the school. And because she wasn't able to do anything in person, we agreed to have her make videos for the kids. Eva.
Yes, I'd like to ask Jen Nelson and Stephen to weigh in before we decide what they would think or what value they've seen. Something along that lines, please.
I would love to see her be able to do a couple more, just because we are the majority of her year-long or income, the contract with us. And she does an amazing job. In every single video, she's got a different costume or, you know, something that goes with the theme. She's taking time on these videos, and the kids like them. In fact, one of my kids sent me a video on Seesaw, and she said, "This is for Mrs. Nottingham." And she held up a picture and she said, "I used my light colors here, and this is my sunset." And she just went on through the whole thing. So, I mean, and she was just glowing and wanting to show that to Karen. So, and I know the kids adore her. She just really knows how to engage them. And it's a fun thing, right?
And I know I heard really positive things in terms of the teachers using the videos when we're in distance learning. What I can't speak to is, you know, how much they would be used once we get everybody back in person. And of course, that's always a tenuous piece too, because as we found out with Stonebridge, that may not be our, you know, our reality for a while. But I know the teachers really value her instruction and her work.
And Jen, you said sometimes if the teachers, you know, need something else, or if there's indoor recess, or, you know, if you have to prep something for 15 minutes or so, it could be something that the teachers could use and put it on, and, you know, they're familiar with her. So,
Right.
yeah. Do you think that'd be something you could still do?
Absolutely.
Teresa?
Jen or Stephen, do you guys know how many teachers have used any of the lessons?
I don't have an exact number.
I don't know how many, but I do know that multiple grades were trying to buy some more videos from her. And I heard quite a few, but again, that's, you know, kind of in my section who, you know, on my hallway who I talk with and the online things. But I heard very positive things from teachers, and that, yes, they were using them.
Would it be worth us creating a survey, Renee, and just sending it out to see what the true interest is, like to find out what percentage of teachers want these, to judge, like if we buy 1 set, if we buy 2 sets, if we don't buy any sets?
We could. Is that something that you guys feel that we could do? Do you want to hear from the parents, or is it just the teachers, or? Because I think we, and also as we're discussing it, I did ask her, the questions that came up were, are they available to everyone, or are they only available on, on the school Chromebooks, or, and will they be available after the school year? So I did ask her, and she said, per her understanding, all of her videos on her YouTube channel are available to access via the school issued Chromebooks as well as personal devices. And they can be accessed by searching YouTube, Karen Nottingham's channel. And then the videos are posted for free viewing and they'll remain available. So I don't think she plans on taking them down, at least in the near future. So if that's something else that. Holly?
I'm fine with saving it or doing 2 more lessons. If we do more lessons, could we maybe add it to our PTA newsletter or to the Lake Elmo Messenger? Because if I wasn't on the PTA, I wouldn't know that these videos even existed. I haven't seen them come through in any of the Seesaw stuff, and I haven't seen anything as a parent of like, hey, this is a resource that you can use when your kids are home. So if we're gonna do it, I think we should spread it as wide as we can and get as many people knowing about it as we can.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you guys think we should, do you think we should send out a survey to the teachers? Do you think that it would be something that, it would just be nice to have, for teachers to have, just to kind of rely on if there's an indoor recess like this week, or for parents to have if it's spring break? And I mentioned that we'll kind of chat about spring break a little later, because we mentioned maybe putting together kits for spring break for parents, because most, you'd like to think that a lot of families will probably stay home. And so you'll need something, activities for the kids, and maybe we could put Karen's videos as part of a kit of some sort. What do you guys think? She also said that, I mean, it seems like she is able to, it's not very time consuming for her to create them. So if you wanted to think about it, if we wanted to hold a vote via email, maybe in the next week or two, if you wanted to think about it more, or if we just want to vote on it now and have her get going on the videos too.
Is there any way we can,
Oh, sorry. Eva, why don't you go first, and then we'll
Oh,
go.
I was gonna say, I'm ready to move ahead and vote on it if other people are. I think it's a good use of our resources, especially since the JCs doubled what we thought we were going to get. And if I'm not mistaken, we still have $400 left over from that.
That's correct. Yeah, if we were to do the two units with Karen,
Yeah.
we'd still have $440
Okay.
that we could carry over to next year. Vicki, what do you think?
I was actually gonna say I would like to actually get the information from the teachers and see if it's something. I know a lot of the 3rd grade teachers bought a video, and my daughter absolutely enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just more worried if we go to full in person like we're supposed to on March 1st, if the teachers and the students would actually use them while they're in, besides indoor recess. I mean, we're basically March, we're getting warmer weather. Yes, we could still have that indoor recess, but how much of the teachers really going to use them after we're full in person?
Okay.
Would be my question.
Emmy, Angie, Trish, or Francis, if you guys want to weigh in too, you're welcome to.
Renee, do you feel like the money from the JCs is supposed to be for this or not necessarily?
It was listed in the letter that we received. It said $4,000 for the Artist in Residence program.
So if we don't approve this, then do we have money that we should be using for it? Do you know what I'm asking?
If we don't approve it, then we would, and I would like to, and
It would carry over for next year.
for Karen next year. Yeah.
Okay.
It should always stay with that program. It's
Yep.
whether we want to spend it now or later. Eva?
Have we confirmed if these videos are available next year? And you know, in the future. So, you know, they can be used next year for snow days and things like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, I don't know.
From what it sounds like when she emailed me back, she said they'll remain available. So I don't know that she plans on taking them down. The one thing that that really sticks with me is it's really cool because she's in Mexico, and so she brings a cultural aspect to it in addition to the art that she's doing. So I feel like that's such a unique opportunity too. We don't want to miss out on something like that.
Especially being a dual immersion school.
Especially
can be.
dual immersion school.
Yeah.
But even for
Well, that's something she can't do next year. Or, you know, is she going to be down there to make these videos in Mexico next year? Possibly not, most likely not. So
her
that's
son
something to
lives
think
there, so
about.
there's a chance, but yeah, so and then the fact that the JC gave us that money, um it kind of I kind of feel like we have the money. We know we'll raise the money for her next year. And so the fact that we have it, it might be nice to use it. So that's where I'm leaning. But
I don't have a problem putting the money towards it, but I would still like to send out a survey just to know how many teachers are using it and how much it's being utilized, because we are still giving it as a resource out for parents to use on their own free will. But like for going forward for next year, it would be nice to know, is this a format that we want to continue to support if this is what the option is next year? Like, I think we should gather that information just as knowledge moving forward.
okay. So would you want to do the survey before voting, or even if we do vote?
I'm okay voting.
Okay. Okay. What do you think? Just with a
I'll
thumb
take the survey.
That was my follow-up question. Just with a thumbs up, are you guys okay with voting? Yes or no? And this is everybody's who's here. If you're a PTA member, you're able to vote. So, all right. All right. So we'll do a roll call vote just so we have an accurate vote. Laura, if you want to,
Don't we need a motion?
we do need a motion. So is there a motion to approve? Well, do we need to do two-part? So do we want to purchase additional units from Karin, and do we want to do 1 or 2 units? I guess however you guys want to word that, whoever wants to put the motion forward. Are we agreed that if we do these videos, would we want to do 2 versus 1? Thumbs up or down? 2 versus 1? 2, okay. So do we have a motion to approve the purchase of 2 additional art videos from Karin Nottingham for April and May?
I do.
Okay. Oh, was that Holly?
Yep.
Okay, that's Holly. Is there a second? Victoria seconds. All right, Laura.
Hang on. Okay, roll call vote. Renee,
Yes.
Eva,
Yes.
Michaela,
Yes.
Victoria,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Laura, yes. Angie,
Yes.
Francis,
Yes.
Trish,
Yes.
Emmy.
Yes.
Did I miss anyone? Okay, we have a unanimous vote. Motion carries.
Great. Thank you, everybody. All right. I think that's it. Is there any other thoughts on that? Any kind of last minute thoughts on that? I'll email Karin tomorrow and let her know, and she usually just posts them on YouTube, and then she will put them on our Lake Elmo Facebook page, and then I'll make sure to put that in our newsletter as well as the Lake Elmo Messenger too, just to make sure as many people can get it as possible. All right, moving on to item 6. Scholastic Dollars update. I just put this on the agenda just so we have it on the record. The kindergarten team was asking to use $411.51 in Scholastic Dollars to purchase books for kindergarten orientation. And Eva says we have about $1,500 in Scholastic Dollars. So we should be fine there. And Eva, the books have been ordered, is that correct? Awesome. So, and it's kind of a tight turnaround because it's mid-March, is that right, Jen, that they'll be going out? Or is it now? Is it?
It's now. Pickup date is the 17th and 18th.
Oh, okay. All right. I saw 17th and 18th and I thought it was of March, but no.
No, the actual orientation is the evening of the 25th and 2 daytime ones on the 26th.
Okay. Wonderful. Awesome. And so Scholastic Dollars, for those of you who might not know, whenever we have a Scholastic Book Fair, we can either opt to get money back in cash or get money back in Scholastic Dollars, or a combination of both. And the Scholastic Dollars can be used on anything in one of their catalogs, and that includes books, that includes packages, or even furniture for your classroom. So the teachers use them often. Our media center uses it often. And I think we gave 1,000. Eva, was it 1,000 or was it 2,000 this year that we gave to the media center? 2,000 in Scholastic Dollars, which is huge. So these Scholastic bucks go a long way, especially when they're deals. Speaking of deals, before we go on to the next subject, Eva said that there is a great deal going on with Scholastic, where there are a lot of book titles that are $1. So the question is, do we want to purchase some books as prizes, maybe thinking ahead to Carnival, or if we do the readathon next fall? It's really hard because we don't know what fundraisers we'll be doing next year. But man, I mean, you're not going to get books for a better price. And these are good quality titles that are popular too. So
They're popular titles. They're not the best quality books. I mean, they're staple bound and things like that, but you won't find them for cheaper than $1 a piece. And they're pretty timely titles. Some of them are. So it's just something to think about. This is something I think they're offering because of COVID to help people replenish their school libraries and things like that.
And I don't know what they have for Spanish with that, because Spanish books tend to be more expensive. When I was just searching, since we weren't in school earlier in the winter for Valentine's Day, I wanted to get my kiddos some books, and usually I find $1 book. There weren't that many this year in Spanish, whereas in English, there's one at least every catalog. So every month, there's always a $1 book. So I think mine were like 2 and 3, but and that's not a complaint, but just something to think about. Please don't forget Spanish books.
Eva.
That's just what I was going to say. We wouldn't forget about Spanish just because it was $2 instead of 1, or $3 instead of 1. It just, that's the way it is. It's unfortunate that they're more expensive, but we would certainly buy a nice quantity to be able to give out to the Spanish immersion kids.
And Stephen and Jen, if you guys can think of anything, I know we didn't do the Dr. Seuss or the cultural night that we did last year, which was so great. And I know that they had a book walk for that and they gave away books too. But if there's any opportunity to use Scholastic Dollars for small gifts like that, or if the interventionists are looking for prizes for their students, please let us know. Just, if you happen to hear something, just let us know. And that's always an option too. All right, so moving on. When in the agenda, sorry, I should have just taken this out. Item 7 is face mask donation drive, but Stephen says that you guys have gotten a pretty good amount of donated masks, so we don't need to do this. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. And so if there's, if there's ever any need, or if you guys start running low, just let us know. Holly and I were chatting earlier today, and she said that, even Costco had huge boxes and it wasn't too expensive. So the PTA could certainly pick up a couple boxes if you need it.
Thank you.
Holly, item 8, she brought up a possible program that might be really neat. Crayola Color Cycle. It's a marker recycling program. You want to chat with
Yeah,
us?
I learned about it through one of my friends who's a kindergarten teacher in St. Paul, and Crayola will take any package. They'll do free shipping, and they will take any plastic marker. So it can be Target brand, it can be Sharpies, it can be Expo markers, dry erase, highlighters. Doesn't matter if there's a plastic case around it. They'll take them and recycle all of them. All we would need to do is provide boxes. And then when you have a box to ship, you contact their program and they'll send you a free shipping label, and away it goes. They're currently paused for COVID, but I feel like we probably need to figure out, do we want to do a box in each classroom, or do we want to do just one box in the office for teachers to bring stuff in? If it's something that we want to go after. So I just thought I'd bring it up for us to think about. Probably not till next year, I would assume, with all the COVID stuff going on, but it might be something that the PTA could take over the logistics for, so that we could get rid of a bunch of plastic.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. Maybe we could just keep an eye on when they plan to reopen the program or when they start accepting them again. But we could certainly talk about that maybe at the next meeting, or maybe the one after that, just to put on our radar and maybe even vote on it to begin in the fall, so that we're ready in the summer, get the boxes together, and then get the teachers on board in August when we launch it. So
For Miss Nelson and Principal Gordy, do teachers like clear out their rooms at the end of the school year? Would there be a purpose for, like, if I dropped off a box at the front office when teachers were cleaning up at the end of the year, would we get like a decent amount, and then I can store them until they start them again?
Yes, and I
Yes.
know a couple of other teachers have already signed up for that. A couple of the kindergarten teachers,
Okay.
I think already do that. I don't, but it would be super nice to have it easy in a box that I'll bring the box to the copy room, and I sure would have tons of markers.
Okay. Awesome.
do we
I
pay for
will.
shipping, Holly, or do they?
Nope, they pay for shipping. All we have to do is provide the box.
Awesome.
So, and we can do a bunch of little boxes or one huge box or whatever works. So I can try, unless there's just a spare box hanging around, I can try and get something up to the school before the end of the year to catch kind of that big dump.
Right.
And then I can store it over the summer if we need to.
Well, maybe if we decide, maybe in March or April, whether to take this on, then by May, before the end of the school year, we can introduce the program, let the teachers know about it, and then say we'll collect them now, and then in the fall we'll start having boxes, in certain areas, and make it more organized. But yeah, thank you. That's a great idea.
Can the kiddos dump off all their markers at the end of the year too? Because I finally gave up and threw them away this summer. I'm so sick of half used eraser or all these random markers. I'm like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Because then they get a new pack every year anyways, regardless if they use the old ones up or not.
Right. Yeah, and people from home can just toss it in a manila envelope and mail it off too. But yeah, as long as we've got a box at the school, I don't think it matters who tosses them in there.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Holly. Janelle's not here to give the dining out update. So we will move on from there. But before we move on, Trish had a question about the masks. This is probably more towards Stephen. Do we feel like we have an adequate supply of non-cloth masks, especially with the new variant? Any need there? Stephen, are we doing anything differently, at least with the staff, with the new variant, with, the suggestion of maybe using 2 masks or a mask and the shield? Any update on that? Oh, you're on mute.
There are some people wearing a mask and a shield, and there are some people who are double masking. But at this time, there's nothing that's come out as a mandate.
Okay. And so Trish, are you just asking, do we feel like we have an adequate supply of non-cloth masks?
Yeah, I was asking more supply wise if there's a need for us as a kind of a parent group to be either fundraising, collecting, purchasing, because I know that a lot of the countries experiencing the new variant are more recommending things of like KF and KN95 type level, and at minimum of like the non-cloth surgical mask and double masking. So just wondering more of if there's any need for additional supplies or planning for additional supplies.
We were given a ton of the paper or the surgical masks at the beginning of the year. We have other masks. Every child was provided so far this year with 2 masks, one at the beginning of the year when we started in person, and just now when we came back, every child gets a mask. Well, all my kids come, most of them, with a second mask because they get wet during the day. So we just keep those for extras. So if somebody gets in, doesn't have an extra mask, we have those available. And I think like 2 boxes of the surgical as well.
And we have extra in the health office as well as in the main office. Now, as time progresses and we get further into this, and we have 3rd through 5th grade back, a month from now, maybe we can revisit this to see if that supply is dwindling.
Okay. The only other thing we have on the agenda is new business. Does anybody have anything that you want to bring up at all, or anything you wanted to discuss? The only thing oh, sorry, was somebody going to say something? No, okay. The only other thing that I was going to bring up was the spring break kits that I mentioned before. Do we want to do a sort of spring break kit? And this, when we discussed it at the last meeting, it kind of sounded like it would be something more virtual, maybe a resource list, or just compiling a whole bunch of things. I don't know if that meant, finding free worksheets online and kind of putting everything into one big resource for families to use over spring break. I'm assuming it wasn't a physical kit. I think that might become a little bit pricier, but certainly something virtual. What are your thoughts, guys? Should we do something like this, or should we, just kind of leave it as, if we have Karin's video, maybe kind of add that, say, here's something extra for you to do over spring break. Teresa?
I think it could be fun. I mean, we could create almost just like a bingo board and put like the different various either websites that teachers use in their classroom, so that because I'm sure a lot of parents don't realize like Kids Art Hub, a lot of kids like to do that, or like the yoga, cosmic yoga, like kids love to do that. And it's one of those things that like they can do at home, they can pull up. It's more than just playing video games. It gives them an option for some different movement. I mean, if we came up with just like a list of 10, 12 things like that, put them on a bingo board and sent them home as like a spring board or something like that, or even just posted it on our Facebook page, could be an option.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. I'll start working on that, and I might reach out to some of you guys just for a little bit of help.
If I could also add,
Yeah.
sorry, to link to the library, like the library staff have done such a good job of like recording books, etc. So if we could link to that too, I mean, they just have done such an amazing job.
I read it.
I agree. And they have kits too. They have, some of them are for more like preschool and younger, but there are some kits that are really neat for older kids too. So it'd be great to direct them that way. All right. If there's nothing else, we can adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn? Anybody? Oh, Laura. Is there a second? All right, Teresa. All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye. Any opposed? Eva, did you have a question? And before everybody goes, in about 10 minutes, we're going to start there's the presentation from the Youth Service Bureau entitled Resiliency During Distance Learning and COVID-19. I am sending in the chat the link for the Zoom meeting if you guys have time, if you're interested tonight. We had our first of these a couple weeks ago, and it was nice. It was just nice to get a little bit more information on how to just deal with being at home, teaching your kids at home, because the kids are going back to school for most of them, and it may not stay that way. So it's just proven. So we welcome everybody, and if you have friends or neighbors or relatives that might want to join, they're welcome to join. The link is in the chat. Otherwise, thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much for being here. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
bye everyone.
Bye.